Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Prep Life. Just getting in the house from Andy Frisella's place. Don't make fun of my glasses. I know you guys were thinking it. You were thinking it. I missed you, by the way. I haven't been around. I feel like I haven't done this show. It's been a week. I do it every week, but I usually do it 2 times a week. The last time we talked about the Trump indictment, and also I was in Montana. Did the Montana trip, preparedness seminar, stop the bleed workshop, leadership, personal security, all the things on top of a book signing. I want to say thank you to everybody who came out to BRCC Kalispell, Andy Stump's BRCC, and waiting hours in line for me to sign your book. Some people, that's not a big deal. To me, it's the biggest deal. I will always stand with you. Everybody knows me and my team knows if there's anybody waiting on me, I'm standing there until the last person is left. I don't care how long it takes. That's the least that I can do. But because of you guys, the book has done really well. 26,000 copies we sold the first week. That is a massive accomplishment. According to like New York Times experts, if you want to get on the NYT list, you got to sell at least 10,000 books. We sold 26,000 books. And we didn't hit the New York Times list because that's editorial, and guys like us just won't hit that list. But we did hit the Wall Street Journal, which takes into account the numbers, the facts, and doesn't make any editorial commentary or judgment. It is what it is. We came in the number 3 spot this week. Number 10 best sold hardback the entire week in the entire country because of your support. I want to say thank you to everybody who supported the book. Thank you for all the feedback, for reading it, for listening to the audio. I appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me. And I never want to just toss that aside because the reason I'm able to do these things, including shows like this, is because of your support. If you're supporting this show, you're supporting it on patreon.com/Mike Glover because I don't take ad sponsors on this show. I appreciate all that support. And if you want to get more, go subscribe and get the underground for all the members of my Patreon, which is the non-censored, non-suppressed version of the show because it's still YouTube. I still have to be on the up and up, which sucks, but I still have to be that. But in the underground, you get the raw and uncut. Thanks for all the support. You can see the link down below. Let's talk about things that are going on in the news. I just got back from Andy Frisella, and Andy Frisella, if you didn't know, he has Real AF, Real as F, the podcast, but he's also the co-founder of the company First Form. I went to do his podcast, one of the realest human beings I know, a great friend. It's awesome catching up with him because there's no censoring of anything. He just gets it out there. We talked about some of these subjects, but I want to talk about this, what I think is really important, especially in the area of preparedness, this Daniel Penny incident. So if you're not familiar with the name Daniel Penny, he was indicted by grand jury in a chokehold death of Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely was the Michael Jackson impersonator that was innocently killed by a rogue Marine. Right? That's what the headlines read in the national media. The truth is, Jordan Neely was a very sick, mentally deranged human being who needed help, and he didn't get that help. He had been arrested 44 times. He was charged with assaulting a woman, an elderly woman, pushing a person on the train tracks in the New York subway system, and was threatening people the day that he was put in a chokehold by Daniel Penny and 2 other good Samaritans, a Hispanic male and a black male. But that detail won't be in the national media. Now, why is this an issue? Well, lawyers, including some politicians in New York City, are saying he was a vigilante. He took the law into his own hands. Well, that's what happens, people, politicians, crooked politicians, when you don't do your job. You know who should be held responsible for the death of Jordan Neely? The New York City politicians, including the mayor, the district attorney, and the chief of police, who aren't doing their jobs. Like, the fact that we have a human being who was deranged mentally, who was hopped up on all the drugs, who had been arrested 44 times and didn't get the help, nor was in jail for all the things that he did wrong, is the problem. Not Daniel Penny, who decided on his own. I'm going to help these people because he's threatening to violently attack people by putting this dude in a chokehold. Now, the unfortunate thing is he meant to put him in a chokehold to block the carotid arteries, which is a blood choke, and have him pass out. But he put him in a chokehold that blocked his windpipe, according to the reports, and he wound up dying of being choked to death. Now, despite that, the intent of this Good Samaritan was to help the situation. And right in this case, Jordan Neely passed away. It's very unfortunate. But cases like Rittenhouse, cases like this veteran, or this active military service member in Texas that was convicted of murder and was sent to prison for 25 years for using deadly force in his vehicle against a protester who had an AK-47, this is setting the precedent for law-abiding citizens to not get involved at all, which is what they want. So here's what I don't understand about this. You have the buy-in because you are outsourcing your security, except the security is not being provided for you. The reason I started American Contingency and this community network on AmericanContingency.com is because the mayor of Seattle told her chief of police in Seattle to not enforce laws except for mass casualties, assault, rape, even murder. None of that was addressed because a politician decided it wasn't appropriate and it was too political. That's the same thing that's going on in New York City. It's going on in Chicago and Baltimore and Philadelphia and every major inner city. This is why this is happening. This is also why the rates of murder, assault, violent everything is up through the roof. And we have no fixes for it. And you're still going to vote for the same people because you think your country is headed in the right direction. We're not headed in the right direction. If your city isn't headed in the right direction, then look at the politics that are in your city and then look at the politics that exist federally and ask yourself that question. Moving on, let's talk about the Trump indictment. This Trump indictment, after talking to Andy Frisella, we talked about it. We broke it up. We talked about how at a crossroads, certainly we are as a country, as a culture, as a society. And one of the things that we're getting very, very wrong is not understanding the ramifications of political opponents going after one another and what that means for the future of our country. Because the only loser is you and me, not the politician who, by record accounts, have made hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Like when I see politicians that promised they were going to do the right thing at the top 10 list of making the most money in their political position. Like all of a sudden they magically graduated the school of knowing what stocks to trade and make millions of dollars all of a sudden. And they're getting richer and we're getting poorer as a nation in all the things. So when you look at this indictment where you have 87 plus charges, federal charges, where the Department of Justice and the FBI have been weaponized against their political opponent, here's what you should understand. One, the only requirement is you need to be like 35 years of age or older and born in America to be president of the United States. You could be in prison. I mean, Trump is likely to be in jail potentially when he's going through this GOP candidacy. And if he's the elect, the GOP elect, the presidential candidate, he likely could be in prison or jail. And that would be unprecedented, but that could happen. And who do you think you're going to vote for when you see a political opponent weaponizing their government to go after Trump? Who are you going to vote for? Now, as somebody who's not the biggest fan of Trump, I voted for Trump out the gate because he was the best opponent that we had, right? He was the best person for the job, especially against Hillary Clinton. But when I think about it right now, I go, man, I want somebody more reasonable. And I don't know if it's DeSantis. I don't know enough about DeSantis. I kind of like him because I like his positions. I like him calling out his state attorney and firing him publicly in a news conference, sitting side by side law enforcement. I love that. But I don't know if he's the right guy. And in my mind, Trump's not really the right guy. But when you do something like this, and I see the need and desire of the country to have somebody who is going to truly drain the swamp like Trump effectively tried to do in the first term, I'm banking on Trump. And it's making me want to vote for him. I want him to pardon himself. Like, how does that work? Like, President Trump, I pardon myself. All right, let's get out of here. Like, I want that to happen because I want him to go into the government and I want him to clean house. Dude, I used to be a big supporter of these government agencies because I have a lot of friends that work for these agencies. I personally think today, based on my own experience, being targeted by the FBI, being told through different chains like Project Veritas that the FBI and the government colluded with social media companies to suppress people like me. I'm completely on the side that these government institutions, including the FBI, need to be completely turned inside out or disbanded completely. I mean, one, having worked for the government, and you see all the intelligence community institutions. There's 17 plus institutions that represent the intelligence community or the IC. We have a director of national intelligence who is in charge of it all. Then we have the Department of Homeland Security. We have too many redundant systems, and we need to start trimming the fat. And so for the first time, I think in my life, I'm looking at this going, yeah, there's some agencies that completely need to be disbanded. They've lost their way. From the executive all the way down to the open source analysts who targeted me, they need to be disbanded. And I know it sucks because there's good men and women I know that work in the FBI, HRT, the regional SWAT teams, investigators that do a lot of hard work. I've worked with them before based on the whistleblowers, based on the political situation we are in. I don't know if that's true anymore. I don't know if these places need to continue to exist. And that's probably going to get me targeted even more, but that's exactly the point in case. You're targeting American civilians. You're targeting political opponents when you should be focused on investigations and counterterrorism and joint terrorism task force going after bad guys. Because I'm not the bad guy, I promise you. I can be your bad guy if you want to make me your bad guy, but I'm not your bad guy. Moving on, let's talk about this situation in the White House that took place where we had the Pride parade and event at the White House. Now, here's what bums me out about this. You guys know where it took place. I'm not even going to mention his name because I don't want to make him more popular than he already is. But you had activists. These weren't just people. These were activists. LGBTQ plus activist. And this particular person was a man, biological male, who was trans and had a breast job, the jaw shaved, the Adam's apple shaved, all the things. Like, some people sent this to me not even realizing that was a guy. I don't care what you do in your own life. I really don't care. But have some freaking respect. Have some freaking respect. You're on the White House lawn and you're showing your man breast, right? And then there were other women, biological women, who had their breasts removed. Same boat. Have respect, right, for the institution. And that's the problem now. We have an administration, we have a president who has zero respect. Zero respect for this country. When you make a political decision to hang the pride flag next to the American flag, centered as a focal point at the White House, on the White House, what message does that send? When Memorial Day is a day where we remember the sacrifice of men and women who gave their lives for this country, one day, we have an entire month dedicated to a Me Too movement? That I don't understand, because that's not an American value. Selfless service, sacrifice, loyalty, duty, those are American values. An American value is not Me Too. I mean, this person, when confronted, apparently got really upset and on their TikTok started virtue signaling that the GOP is sexualizing her or him or whatever. The GOP is sexualizing you because they're offended that you took... Wait, no. You sexualized yourself when you injected collagen in your lips, when you put 34 double Ds in your chest. That's sexualizing you. If you cared so much about the movement and your position as a woman, then why would you care? Like, why would you even care to infuse implants into your chest, into your lips, shaving your jawline? Because you're sexualizing it. And this is what this movement's about. It's not about the pride to be whatever you want to be, because I don't know if you know this, but in America, you can be that. This movement's about sexualizing other people to get on your bandwagon. And that's the problem I have with it all. Like, if you're going to do a movement where you want to be respected as a trans person who's a biological male being a woman, then just be that. Just be that. Don't be radical. Don't be flamboyant, but you have to be flamboyant because that's the way you move your movement. That's your persona. Your persona is the fake eyelashes, the fake boobs, all the fake things, and dancing and parading in front of children. Like, if you just took a step back and went, man, if I was just normal, because I know plenty of amazing, normal gay people, lesbian and gay dudes. I have members of my family that are gay, and you know what they don't do? They don't rub it in your face. I mean, my cousin, who's male, is married to a service member. That's awesome. That they love one another, they're able to get married, get the same benefits federally, they get housing, they get all the benefits because they're husbands. And that's their life. But they're not parading around showing their fake breast on the White House lawn during something that's supposed to represent pride the entire month. I mean, I would be insulted if I was an African American looking at this going, okay, it's important to represent African Americans and their place in history over the course of a month because there's a lot of things that we need to talk about. Segregation, civil rights, all the contributions that they've made. But you have an entire month of talking about, look at me, me too, me too. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. We get 1 day for veterans, 1 day for those who sacrificed their lives on Memorial Day, and we get an entire month of throwing this crap in your face. It's sad. It's actually against the law. If you look at flag laws, which there are laws, there's ordinances, look into the law. If you know that about this, I'm not versed on it. People have educated me on it. Leave it in the comments down below. Because you're not even allowed to put a flag side by side, the American flag, that way. Except we do it. Because it's all about being flamboyant. Where Biden says, you're the most powerful, whatever. I'm paraphrasing here. But he's like, you're the most special, powerful people on the planet. For what? That's your sexual orientation. Nobody cares. Maybe I'm alone in this. But I don't give a damn. You know what I care about? Service members who sacrifice everything. Service members' families who have been left behind, who sacrifice everything. Like real issues that we need to be talking about. Oh, Lord. That got me fired up. We got a lot going on. I got a book signing this Friday, tomorrow at Black Rifle Coffee HQ. The following week, I have a women's-only personal security class on the 24th. Come out and see us. Make sure you sign up at fieldcraftsurvival.com to see all the things. And guys, people have been asking me about this app. The app is available now. And I say app, I hate that I'm steering people in the wrong direction by saying this as a blanket statement. It's an app, but right now it's only available online, but you could sign up online at fieldcraftsurvival.com to get on the waiting list for the app component. Some people only want to sign up if it's app user interfaced. They don't want to go to a website or a hyperlink, and I get that. Go to fieldcraftsurvival.com. You can sign up for it. We will have the app component of that built out in about 3 weeks with the people who are building out. We're not personally building that out, but right now it's soft launch. You can go on the website, become a member, or sign up to get informed when the app drops, but you can get all the education right now. Everything from canning and jarring to first aid to situation awareness, it's all available now. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for sharing this show. If you like everything that you listen to on this show, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification tab, and make sure you share the love. I appreciate you guys. Till next time, have a good weekend. Peace out.